Alrighty. Yes, I saw the lurk message. Thank you, Walu. Let's see here. What do you mean no song is playing? You should be able to detect that. Oh, is the freaking... So my computer freaked out earlier, and I bet that Spotify is just... That explains why I couldn't play the other music. I bet Spotify is just crapped out. Alright, well, let me try to kill it then. What? Weird. Okay. I guess we're gonna have to go into Task Manager. I tried to restart Spotify earlier, and it didn't seem to work. So, let's see. It must be stuck in the background or something. Had this weird problem recently. Yeah. Let me kill these. I had this weird problem recently where if I... And it's only on the main PC. If I mess with my OBS sources on the main PC, which are where I control like the actual capture, it causes things to freeze up, and then it's like it resets video connections and stuff, but then that causes certain apps to just completely freeze and act really weird until I reboot the computer. Which I haven't done yet since the last time that happened. So that could be where we're having part of the problem. Turn this on. There we go. Alright. Does this work now? Yeah, okay. So like Spotify was quote unquote working, but I could not access any online tracks. It was like it thought it was offline, which meant it wasn't talking over the network. So the tuna player thing couldn't detect what was playing and show it for us on here. But it should work now. It may just require... yeah, okay, it's working now. Weird. And then I just have to do this, and then we're good. Okay. And yeah. Just make sure there's nothing else I need from that screen. No, I think I'm good. So there we go. First time chatter. What am I doing? I am doing game development. Let's see here. Let me get this out of the way. And I can show something more specific. So I have a sort of Resident Evil inspired game I am making. And well, I can show kind of what's in here so far. It's specifically inspired by like Resident Evil 4. There it goes. So we'll come up here. We have an inventory case, much like in Resident Evil 4, with slots that we can drag stuff around in. Gotta work on the pickup radius of stuff. There's still some missing animations, but we can add an item. We can move it around. It is now equipped. We can, if we have multiple weapons on our shortcuts, we can switch between them. We can pick up ammo. It'll be in our inventory. We can reload. There's no animation playing, but you'll see that the counter in the right-hand corner has now updated with the new ammo. And it has consumed the ammo appropriately. And then, I think the aiming is still off because I'm working on fixing the crosshair. Yeah. So we can fire. There's no sound effects or anything yet. But the hit detection is off. Like, I'm aiming at that pillar and I'm shooting behind it. So there's some stuff that has to be worked out. Muzzle flashes are not the most reliable yet. So that is kind of what we're working on. I'm trying to get the crosshair system and everything a little more sorted out and hopefully accurate. Been curious how my games look. Do I reckon? Oh, okay. I know who this is from that username. I did not realize you were already following me until I just clicked the thing. And I see the follow date on there. I thought the username was suspiciously familiar, but I wasn't certain. But you kind of gave yourself away at that point. I'm wondering if last stream we had a visit from what I can only refer to as the man, the myth, the legend. I'm going to call him Poopy Pants Man because I've seen him in one other game dev stream that he used to pop into regularly. And all he does, he doesn't do anything else, no context. He gives a poop emoji, a pants emoji, and a question mark. And then he leaves. And he showed up last stream, but he didn't follow. So if he shows up again, he's a strangely determined man or person. Yes. Pooped Pants Man. I'll send you a screenshot of it later. After stream, I have a screenshot of it. Let's see. So I don't expect him to show up again. It was very funny because I saw the emojis and immediately thought about it because it'd been a long time since I'd heard about it. Since I'd seen the short where the guy talked about him. And then I wasn't certain it was the same guy, but I went and confirmed, and it sure enough is. Project funded or a passion project. So I'm funding it out of my own pocket at the moment. The hope is that stuff like Twitch here and other content creation can pay for it in future. We're about to have an ad break, but you have Twitch Prime, so you won't be affected. However, I will pause for the ads when they run. Bezos is going to start running his ads any minute now. But yeah, so I'm hoping that eventually, because I am an affiliate here on Twitch, so I do actually make a little bit of money. It's not much. I'm hoping that it will eventually help fund this. Otherwise, it's funded out of pocket. And it is basically a passion project. I've only been working on it in earnest for about 6 months. I had plans for it like years ago, but school kept me from working on it, basically. All right, Bezos, run your ad. Bezos, come on. There he is. Kind of. Wait. Oh. Oh, no, there it goes. It ran. Never mind. We're good. All good. False alarm. There was a delay in my thing, so the little marquee wasn't running. Since we're in an ad break, give me a moment. For those who are not in ads, hold on, let me fix my face. To shill my sponsor, Dubby, and you can use code GameDev for 10% off energy drinks. They are sugar-free. Break the immersion for a second here. I'm breaking the immersion, but they are a sponsor, so I have their thing. They have a retro sherbet flavor that came out that tastes like the old ice cream push pops that you could get. You have Prime. Oh, because you don't have Turbo. I keep forgetting Turbo's a separate thing. Right, so yeah, you were watching ads then, so you missed me being a shill. So I have a thing that pops up during ads that's like saying the ads are running. So I have a thing because I pause for ads. I try not to do stuff when ads are running, if possible. Sometimes when we're playing certain games, they're not pausable. You know, like some Souls games, that kind of thing. Or if I'm in collabs and stuff, that's harder to pause for. But I try to pause for ads. Yeah. So the reason for the cup was, and I guess I'll force the ad thing back on here for a second. So let me see here. Well, actually, I kind of can't the way I have it set up. Anyways, I have a marquee that comes across, and then on the thing also is a little product splash, because Dubby Energy I have a sponsorship with them, and I get an affiliate code that you can use for 10% off orders with them. I'll put it in the chat. And so yeah, they're a sponsor, and so I have the cup, but they have a retro sherbet flavor. It's 0 sugar energy drink mix. And the retro sherbet tastes like those ice cream push pop things that were more common when we were children. So and then you can do some other stuff with like which you've never really, I don't think, been in streams unless you've been lurking all this time. So you probably don't have really anything in the way of points, but I have channel points that you can redeem for a bunch of stuff. If you can get a bunch of them, you can do stuff like this. Let's see, do this, and boop. Yeah, so, little guy actually enjoys rainbow sherbet. Switch up. Ice cream and sherbet, yeah. So, okay. So that little tangent. Let me see here. Let me close this. How tempting. Yeah, so they have it's a zero sugar, doesn't really have any jitter to it. I drink it and go to bed afterwards, but that's oh, you bopped me. Okay, bot. I just sent that link. You don't need to do it again. That's automated to some degree. I just apparently undercut it a little bit. All right, so I need a couple things here. One is widgets, UMG. Where? Crosshair widgets in here, so we'll put it in here. Boop. User interface, widget blueprint, the user widget extension. And this is gonna be W sniper scope. Actually, for naming convention, I should probably put AP on the end. Or at least widget. Oop, I cannot. Yeah, let's do BP. There's a couple things I gotta fix as far as names go on this stuff. But yeah, as of right now, everything I do for this is self-funded. But I do, and it is pretty much a solo project. I do have a couple people helping me with some stuff. Some of it I can talk about. Some of it I'm not sure that I can, because there are some informal agreements about some of it. One of our regulars, as well as one of my moderators here on Twitch, is an audio technician and composer by trade. Well, by education, I should say. She doesn't actually work as one presently. And she is responsible for the music for the game, of which we've only done one track so far, and I can actually play that. It's just the main theme. Here it is. I'll turn it up because it's kind of quiet. is looking pretty good. So I'm inspired by Resident Evil 4. You went, oh, that's cool. Yeah, so the summary I generally repeat, which is why there's now a command for it, is this. It should be in chat. It actually should sound eerily familiar if you ever saw the short film I helped produce, did like the special effects for when I was in college. But I'm not sure that, I mean, that's on YouTube, but I'm not sure that that it was ever really shown widely. It's not on my channel, but it is on YouTube. Yes, it is. I'm very. This is still a rough draft. This is not even finished. But I gave her very specific instructions that I wanted her to go for non-traditional instruments and an industrial sound. And so this is kind of what we ended up with. I guess really I need this to be above here so that it can, oh, it's looping. We don't need to listen to the same thing over and over. Adjust the volume before the regular music blows somebody's eardrums out. Okay, that puts that there. Oh yeah, so I actually need this to be at the other end of that so that it's on top. Yeah. That hides the rest of the HUD elements, so that's good. We'll set it as invisible by default. We don't actually need it to occupy any space when it's like that, because it's not positioning anything else. It just needs to be above everything else. We want it to stay at the top, so I'm just going to try to max out that render height as well. Okay. Master component. Crosshair widget. Where's the weapon management component? Don't need the weapons table. Yeah, this guy. Cool. Let's see. Close that. So we need to be able to call a trace. Because right now, the issue with the aiming is... Hang on. I had done something here, and before this wasn't working. But now that I think about it, some of the changes I've made might make it work. I'm not certain, to be honest. What engine am I using? This is Unreal Engine 5. It started on Unreal Engine 4, but I moved it up a few months back. I finally made it upgraded. That was several streams in and of itself. And I do work on it off stream, so sometimes there are big jumps in progress. If Lee was wondering, if he's really, really curious, Twitch deletes VODs after like 30 days. But there is an entire game development playlist on my YouTube channel that has pretty much, it should be all of the VODs, but it should, if not all of them, be most of them. Now that's hours, because oftentimes these run 2 to 3 hours. But they're all in there, so you could go back and see stuff from earlier. Okay. It's, yeah, that's not right. Why would it? So in this case, what I'm trying to do is get the world position. He says he has a backlog of videos. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anybody to go watch it. Why would it be going at a weird angle? Like, oh, wait a minute. No, that wouldn't make any sense. You meant he has a backlog of need. Yeah, I assume that's what you meant. And then he was referring to like adding to the videos. I don't keep them because I expect people to necessarily go back and watch them. It's more because I multi-stream, because Twitch doesn't keep VODs very long. So I'm live on YouTube right now as well. And this way the VODs are like already up on YouTube. So what this is supposed to be doing, unless I got this entirely wrong, is it should be taking the position of the crosshair, the crosshair viewport center, which, to be fair, is being calculated by itself. I guess this cached geometry is a problem. Let's see, could we solve this? want the center. I mean, theoretically, no weapon point is kind of in the center of that thing. I'm gonna try something here. No. I don't think this is gonna work. Little man is all hyped that you know a game developer. I made you cool. Oh, now, hold on. Hold on now. Ow. I don't know that I could do anything to make you cool. Let's see if this works. Nope, that's just as bad. Okay, so using Scratch. I've never had to work with Scratch, but I am tangentially familiar and tangentially aware that it's kind of a nightmare. So probably because I don't even recall how old your son is. Let's be honest, I was invited to his first birthday before I even remembered that you had been pregnant. So I don't know that you'd want him. Yeah, at 12 or 13, I don't think technically Discord allows it. But I have a community, a Discord community, that I store game development learning resources in. Like stuff that I share links and stuff to stuff that's freely accessible for all different kinds of programming languages and all different kinds of tools. There's actually a number of people in there. It's not terribly active. There's not a lot of chatters. But there are people in there who are looking to learn game development or who already are learning it themselves. And so I have tools in there and stuff so he could learn to work with other languages if he'd like. He just might need to kind of do that through you because I don't even think Discord would let him have an account. Yeah. So that should throw up the invite link. When you're doing the onboarding for it, it'll have you choose the things you're interested in. Look for the role for wanting to learn game dev. And that should give you access to the game dev channels. If you have trouble finding it, if you say something in the chat, or in the general chat, I can help you out. Who did super strict about his online stuff. I just, in general, because of Discord, having a lot of like spam bots and stuff on it. I try my best to keep them out of my server. Occasionally they get through, that kind of thing. It's also a lot easier to not try to moderate content with the consideration of there being a 12 or 13-year-old in there. Like, I don't generally have any, like, 18 plus kind of content going on. I mean, we play violent games sometimes, and I certainly probably swear too much for a 12 or 13-year-old to be watching the stream. Then again, knowing who his parents are, he might already be exposed to some language. Which, I mean, that's the proper practice for that kind of thing. All right, so I wanted to get the location from this thing. So is there... There's got to be a way to run a trace. Because let's actually look at where the trace is going from this math. We know that the other one is off, but oh, yeah. Of course I would call you out. I just had to think about it for a minute. I had to think about who I was talking about here. Well, and it's... Yeah, that's about what I thought. It's going over there. Why is it doing that? Well, and he doesn't realize it because he was like 1 year old. He's met me before. Was that his like first or second birthday? I don't remember what it was. Yep. I wasn't doing any of this back then, but he wants to meet me a second time. At some point, probably. I mean, I'm still in the general Charlotte area. That's all I'll say when I'm live on the internet. I don't want to completely dox myself. Okay, so this should be getting us the logical, like the local center for this. Drooling at talking my ear off. He should be prepared for the fact that I'm not a people person. Let's see. So this is supposed to be getting the center of this widget. Presumably it's not. And to be honest, I don't have a good way of checking. Was I like draw something on it? That's true. That is true. Lee and I are a lot alike from what I recall, so that tracks. That also tracks. Okay, so local center should be getting us the coordinate. It's not. Fine. But why? Oh, I gotta sneeze. I don't want to sneeze into the microphone. I'm gonna mute. Okay. I didn't sneeze, but I feel better now. Did I mess this up? Cache geometry, local coordinate, should be local center. Local should give size X by size Y. Thank you for not blowing your ears out. Well, you should be glad that my main moderator hasn't shown up, because her favorite thing to do, child is in bed now, curse all you want. I don't tend to swear a lot on game dev streams just because I'm doing this stuff. I also have a bleep button, which I actually think is way funnier than just the swearing if I remember to use it, because then I can just bleep myself. What are you on about, Streamlabs? For what combo? What? What are you saying, Streamlabs? What even is that? That's not one of mine. What is that? I can't even tell what character that is. What? That. Okay, Google Translate. That was not helpful. Not you. No, stop. Jeez. Okay. The bots are going crazy. Could we not with the notifications, please? Alright, hang on. I got a text message that I have to reply to. Posture check. I was slouching a little bit, I suppose. I shall sit up, not that you can tell. You can totally tell. He does kind of like crunch in on himself if I lean over. Anyways, what I was trying to say was, in regards to you getting your ears blown out by noises, my lead mod, her favorite thing to do when she first enters the chat is redeem a sound clip that's in there that is fart with reverb. It's her favorite sound. Let's see. So this clearly didn't work, this particular way of calculating. Now the question is why? I could watch these values, I guess. Let's add breakpoint here. And should be able to hit play, and then it should execute. We'll get the gun, and then when we go to aim, okay. Okay, it's got the vector. I'll be honest, I don't really expect that to be an issue or to be something I can actually read. It's not saying it's out of spec, and it's not saying that there's no debug information, so it probably has it. It's just a geometry structure that we probably can't read, so that's fine. Because it is returning this, which is also fine. Which should mean that all right. Let's do this. Break this link. Let's split the structure. Let's times it. And then let's make a vector 2D. Maybe it's multiplying it weird. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I am curious. It makes it. I guess I didn't actually check what the local center was before. Viewport position 00. Okay. Let's toggle this off. Let's run this. Oh, it's hidden. Close that and just play it here in the editor. Oh, we're about to have another ad break here in a second. Nope, that's still wrong. Wait a minute, hang on. No, it's not world coordinate. All right, we have ads running. Wait on this stand. Okay, we are back from ads. So, okay. That's weird because it seems like we're getting 0, 0. Hi. You're saying hi because you're back from ads? Let's see. So, oh geez, I didn't want to pop that up on the other screen. That was not intentional. So, we are getting the origin point. So then is the issue with how it's calculating? Presumably then the issue's not here at all. It's in here. No, wait. Hold the phone. Which one is that? It's under Weapon Master, I believe. No, not you. May have closed it, to be honest. I think it's gonna be in here. Yeah. Because this is where I ran the crosshair viewport center. So it's something in here. These calculations. Convert screen location to world space. If we're converting the screen location to world space, but it's starting off to the side. Wonder what the reason for that would be. The irony was that this was closer to being accurate. Despite the complicated calculation. It was still off, but it was pointed in the right direction. Yeah, it's... so then... Oh, I'm gonna have to do something to prevent him from doing that. That'll be a problem to deal with. Because he is firing into the wall, I'm assuming? Yeah. It did actually come out that time, though. Oh, funnily enough, he's not able to fire in the wall. Something about that is preventing it from firing. Is it because of how close it is to the wall? Did I actually account for that? Ah, it's too close. I see. So that's good. I accounted for that. But yeah, it's weirdly off. Okay. Why? Why would that be a thing? Why? Alright, let's see what are our other options here. This one. Okay, how is it getting... Zoom. Position. Event tag calculation. Aim offset. So maybe I should run a calculation on the character. Trace and damage. So I need to create a trace. Socket location. Yeah. Okay, so if we're going to calculate this, let's manager here. Let's create an event. Let's call it calculation shot. Let this run a sequence. So we should probably calculate, let's see. Calculate our spread angle. Use spread as a Boolean. We should output probably a float. Spread angle, since we're dealing with angle, it may not be a whole number, so spread this out a bit here. Branch it out. We don't have the stuff to do that just yet, probably, so we're going to just set that there for now, because we still need it to execute if we run it. The stuff I'm actually curious about, we run our trace. It runs at an angle. Hang on, let's test something in our weapon component again. This one? Yeah. Getting that. That gets our start. Let me just break these. Let's deal with this a little bit at a time here. So if we're valid, we want our... Can we get our player camera manager? Player camera manager. That actually might be the option. If this functions correctly. Get the camera location. Set that to our start point. And then the end point can be calculated. Let's see. Off of this, get camera rotation. Break out the rotator. We keep our roll. In fact, we'll make another rotator. And we'll get the forward vector. Can we get... Let's do this. Because we need... to cast this. Cast to CH. Just do the mail. Can we get equipped? You want to zoom out? Nope, stop. Stop it. Why are we zooming all of a sudden? There we go. Branch out. Nope. That's not right. spread curve time. Okay, I guess I could do this and then do is valid. And if it's valid, cast to weapon base. Can I get, is there a spread setting in here that I can get? Nope. Unless it's in the info? Let me just check the data table. Rotation offset. Firing rate. Spread curve. Spread multiplier. Cam offset. Alright, we can figure out the spread situation in a minute. I want to test my actual theory here. Oh, you got a Snivy as your starter. Let's, for now, get rid of this stuff. There's no real reason for me to break this apart right now. I'm just not going to offset any of that for the moment. We only really care about our forward vector. Can I get the distance? Oh, firing range. This is what I was looking for. And you might have issued that command too late there. Another. Yeah, there you go. You got it. Sometimes it's a little buggy. I have found sometimes it'll tell you that it's not caught, and you'll have actually caught it. There's a panel. If you're on mobile, I don't know that you can see it. There's a panel down below, like the About section of my channel that has the Pokemon game in it. Let's see, so we should be able to do auto saving. Start, get start, to local variable. Doing that, and then I was okay. I think. Let's see if that makes any difference whatsoever. Okay. That's basically the same. Oh. Oh no. I think I just thought of the issue. It's using the other camera, isn't it? Which camera are you using? Let's set a toggle on here. Camera manager, camera location. Control on. Do you? Scene component. I wish I knew which camera it was using. Ah, nope. Don't do that. Okay. Because I have a suspicion that it's using the wrong camera. Because there's this guy, but there's also this guy. And I have a suspicion that it is running the trace from this camera, which I'm not really planning to do anything in first person. The main reason I have this camera here is for some other checks. But I wonder if it should be doing this guy instead. Maybe you're an old lady. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out. It was a pleasant surprise. Nice talking to you. I guess you can't get a specific camera, which is weird. Okay, let's do this then. There should only be one in here. Hmm. Is it the world location? Can we get rotation off of this? I wonder if that'll do anything. Okay, it does have values. So let me toggle this off so that we can continue to test it. That's pretty much the same result, which is weird. Okay, we have an ad break. Let's see. Okay, we are back from ad break. So the world direction doesn't seem to be the issue, really, which is strange. So seemingly it doesn't even really matter how we calculate this. It ends up about the same either way. So when we do it this way, the only thing I could think is that it's happening in here somewhere. It's actually much higher when we do it that way. So this is still the better of those two options, because this one at least is close. I'm still not sure. Nor the owner. Get shoot at position. I guess it could be happening in here somewhere. Um, get firing range. Look at rotation. Wait a minute. Let me try this. I don't... think this is gonna work. Okay, let's set that. Maybe this will work? I don't think so, but crazier things have happened. Not this guy. We want... where is it? Here. Maybe this will work because we're not actually trying to get the rotation of the barrel socket. Probably need to do it up there too. I don't actually expect this to work. In fact, I expect it to be terrible. But I want to see if it makes a difference at all. Alright. That seems to always... fire in roughly the same direction. Which is interesting. It's a trick gun to give to your enemies. Yeah. I guess that could be one way of looking at it. I'm trying to... I've got it where it's working close, and I'm trying to fix the aiming. Because it's ever so slightly off. Because right now... Oh, nope. Hang on. It's still... It's really broken now. Hang on. What'd I do? I broke something. I thought I put it back how it was. I must have missed something. What did I do? Oh, hang on. I had changed that. Maybe that was why it was broken on the other one before. Let's verify if this puts it back how it was. Okay. Yeah, so now it's like a little off. It's like slightly to the left. So seemingly, yeah, I can do it again. We'll verify. We get some more ammo. So, boop, boop, yeah, left. It's harder to see up there in the dark, but it seems to be, based on where the hit markers are. Always to the left. I mean, I can turn faster than it. If I turn too quickly, it'll... Which actually, if that's the case... but yeah, it's always to the left. It's a line trace. Yeah, line trace from the camera. Yeah. Well, I've tried it two different ways. Initially, I was doing it off of the gun, and then it was not remotely in line with the crosshair. So yeah, I'm doing it from the camera position. I've tried a couple different things because at one point I wasn't sure. There's technically two cameras, so I wasn't sure which one it was using, and so I've got some mess in here that's not used anymore. But I have limited it. At one point, I was also trying to like. I did this where I was on my crosshair, where I was trying to get the actual center point of this as it relates to the world and pass that along. And that gave me basically the same result-ish. Actually, no, it was a little worse. It was like off in one corner. I just hit the microphone. It was like off in one corner. It's weird. It's always to the left. As far as I know, the crosshair itself is centered on the screen here. Alignment 0.5 by 0.5. Oops. I don't know why its size was... Hang on. Was its size weird? If you make the start point of the trajectory not based on the gun, but based on your camera, is it still left? Probably not in that case. I haven't tried that because I'm using the same trace to determine the bullet trail. Like I'm using the same vector information. So I don't really want to do that. But I can. Let's see. I think I can just change that and it'll do it. We'll see what that does. Because I had stored that information. Unless I've messed it up since then. Yes, actually, it is still left. There is no difference. Because what I just changed, oops, is in here. So I'm using this, which is this local aim start, which gets the world location from the third person camera from the actor. It was a local variable I was using for a different calculation, so I just set it on this guy to use outside of here. Something somewhere, and I'm sort of assuming like there's going to be a little bit of weirdness to it because there's a spread calculation here. But it's not adding anything to it. I don't believe. Yeah, because it'll just return 0, 0, 0. So it shouldn't even be adding a spread curve to it. I can break this off to confirm. Yeah, it's the same. So spread curve, since it's not in use right now, is not the problem. This is a standard function. I'm assuming it's in here, but I'm not sure where I've messed this up because it validates the skeletal mesh for the weapon. It has a check here to ignore its own barrel. And then it runs through here to these line traces. Start point, end point. Profile name is weapon, which is fine. Let's put some breakpoints in here. We'll investigate. Okay, so at this point, I can't drag off of those. But it's running a check. hit something, so I got that value. And I thought maybe it was in here because I was getting the look at rotation of the barrel, but that doesn't seem to make sense either. Because when I change those, it also goes absolutely bonkers. X, Y. The ray trace is being calculated starting from your weapon to the center of your grid point. Yes, but then, like, ahead of me. Because I want the endpoint. It's effectively treating him like he's pointing at an angle. The vector points are definitely getting altered. But ray tracing from the weapon or from your camera to find the collision point. So the ray tracing is happening based on points more so than directly off of the mesh, but the point is being calculated by the mesh. Because I'm using these start and end point vectors. The starting point of the trace, because that's our line trace here, should be using this start point, which is passed in the function, which we were getting the start point from. Let me get out of here. That's here. Trace start point. And we were setting that in this, which is made through the forward vector of the socket on the weapon. So barrel socket, it gets the transform, gets the location and the rotation, because that's the start point of the trace. And it specifically wants the forward vector of the rotation. Do I have somewhere with lots of range? You know, it probably wouldn't hurt for me to build like a little shooting range in here for testing, but no, not really. I mean, I could stand back here and shoot all the way across. It doesn't really seem like it gets guess it could be that the gun's range is too far. Which would be kind of silly if that's the case. More inaccurate the closer I am. I mean, up to a certain point, it won't he won't fire if he's right up on the wall. I do have it like, well, he'll fire that close, but if it goes into the wall, it won't. Or apparently it will on this wall. It wouldn't on the pillar over there, which is weird. Must be a collision thing. Oh, there, it won't do it once it's through there. If I were to shoot in infinity, trail would match the console. Well, we can kind of maybe test that. I have an opening back. Oh, here we go. This is an opening into infinity. We won't see a hit mark, but we can watch the trail. Oh. I have it set where he won't shoot if he can't hit anything. Apparently. I can kind of make it because I guess I'm technically hitting something with the trace. Or was the door... Was there collision on the door that was stopping me? That might have been I was in the collision of the door. Maybe. That's weird. Can I not fire in this doorway? You can't fire in doorways, apparently. I'll need to adjust some collisions. The calculation might be trying to trace to infinity. It shouldn't, but it seemed like that might be... So our firing range is a float, which is determined by the weapon. Let's toggle a breakpoint here where we can watch it. Watch this value. It's using the max range defined for the weapon to handle the calculations, but okay, well, the range defined was 3,500, and I kind of just picked that as an arbitrary number because 3,500 is... Unreal units are weird. We can actually adjust that and see. Because I think that's in here. Okay, let's just... Because I don't remember how many units this is actually in. I think it runs in like millimeters or something. Not millimeters, but like some crazy small measurement. And that's part of it. Let's reduce that. We'll leave the headshot distance calculation alone for now. So theoretically, okay, I'm gonna toggle this off so that we can actually test it. Well, it is. The trace is a little weirder. Which there's going to be some variation because of the spread. But it seems like it does have quite a bit of effect on it. Hang on. I wasn't seeing hit marks anymore, so now I'm confused as to what it's doing here. Get up closer to the wall. Okay. Yeah, so that's part of the reason I had it at 3,500, because 500 is pretty short. From your camera position and to your center, find that collision point in global. Yeah, well, that's so. Where is it? We should be doing that in to get shoot at position. I guess we do this. It'll do a line trace for bullet hit. And then a single projectile might be the one where we want to do this. Let's just see what that does. I actually expect that to go absolutely bonkers, but I'm curious. Okay, so that's swap those. About to have another ad break. That's the same either way on that case. All right. Oh, and it's too late for me to snooze the ad too. We're back from ads. Just waiting on this trace here to run. I'm going to see if this interface is using this value anywhere that I'm not aware of. Base component, item base. Why is that in the item base? Okay. Interesting. I guess because it has the interface. Okay. So that's not really used anywhere crazy. But yeah, so this probably needs to increase. Back to what it was. So clear some of this out, probably. Not add a pin. Clear. I don't want to delete it yet because I might need to reference what I was doing, but I want to get it out of my way. I could put this back on here, but that's... So, right now, those are based entirely on the gun. And when based entirely upon the gun, yeah, it does weird, because the gun's angled, of course. that's our shoot at position. Load and spawn projectile. Ah. Send you a pretty photo on Discord. That's what seems to be happening. Yeah, no, I think that is exactly what it's doing. I'm just not sure why the difference, like, I definitely was getting the direction from the camera. Yeah. So I guess let's see. That's spawning an actor. That's just the projectile. Okay. Well, and see, that's what, at least as far as I could tell, I was doing. The get shoot at position, because we get our trace points, that's to set these values. Now, right now, I'm using, because I changed it back just now, I'm using the stuff just from the gun. And that gets our start point. The endpoint is also currently defined from the gun at the moment, but I had it defined by these guys. Because I can get the... Bring this down here where we can look at it outside of all that junk. So I can do this, which gets our camera. I can assume it's the last one because I'm using a tag and there's only one camera with the tag. I don't have to worry about there being more than one. And I can get its location. And its rotation. I can also make sure it is valid before we proceed. Go ahead and bring this down here. Because much like with this, the location, I should be able to do this. Basically a repeat of this calculation. Endpoint, rather. We need our forward vector. And then our location. Because that should be setting our trace endpoint at the crosshair. Oh, I forgot to set that. And then get into this guy. He's using those to calculate this, or shoot at position. I'm going to the draw time. So it should draw the traces. Trace color blue, trace it color green, so that should be the one we're looking out for. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure this is the same calculation I'd already done. Let me reduce the range. Though in theory, if it's the trajectory at infinity is the problem, then that's probably not going to make any difference. It seems like it might be closer to the crosshair. At a distance, at least. It definitely is just as inaccurate close up. Set the range like 400. Well, I had it at 500 earlier. But I'm thinking that the range, for whatever reason, isn't actually playing a factor here, and that the trace, like the projectile is still traveling to infinity, or wanting to. Because 400 is going to put me like this close to get a hit. And it's still, it's actually a little high now, it seems like. It won't even fire. Well, it technically is firing, but it's like not even drawing the thing at that range. It won't hit anything. Yeah, it is. It's weird. I'm put it up to 1,000. I'm curious. It's a little high, but at 1,000, it seems like it's kind of there. Pretty close. Now, but if I walk up too closer to the wall, it's not. So that's interesting. I may have to look at some of the shooter projects, like the example projects. And there's a third-person shooter one. And see how they go about doing that. So, like, I'm not sure why, because as far as I can tell, I'm getting the off of the camera calculation correct. So, but it is also 10 o'clock and I have to go to work tomorrow, so I should probably be going to bed. I say as I drink more of my energy drink. Let's see. I think Key was live playing Resident Evil 1. That seems like an appropriate. Is Key still live? They are not live. Out of the people that are live that I regularly raid into, let's raid Stein. And I will be back tomorrow to play video games. So, good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.